Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Seize Your Business podcast and video blog. My name is Kevin O'Flaherty from O'Flaherty Law, and I'm joined by Steve Eschbach with Transworld Business Advisors and Phillip.Simoncelli from Country Financial. And this is going to be kind of a unique version of the podcast. We are going to be relaunching the content and the format of this podcast. Some of you who have been listening for a while know that I started Seize Your Business probably about 5 years ago, and I interviewed business owners about the best way, kind of the secrets to their success. Every business owner has something they're particularly good at, and what I used to do is interview people about the things that they were particularly good at so we can all learn from them. The past couple years or so, Brian McDonald's been hosting the podcast and doing a great job, and he's still going to be coming by and either doing an affiliated podcast or guest hosting occasionally. So he is not gone, but we are going to have Phil and Steve take over as the primary host of the podcast because the podcast is being now run by the Business Lounge, which is an organization that we're all a part of. So we're going to have Steve talk a little bit about what the Business Lounge is so that makes sense to everyone. And then Phil will talk about where the podcast is going, where we want to take it, and how we want to provide better content to you guys. So Steve, thanks for being here. Why don't you briefly introduce yourself and what you do, and then you can talk a little bit about what the Business Lounge is.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kevin. It's a delight to be here. I'm very excited about the opportunity here to represent the Business Lounge Network and the Seize Your Business podcast series that's going to be getting up and running once again. So I've owned Transworld Business Advisors for about 4 years now, and I've had the pleasure of working with a multitude of business owners in a variety of different industries and expertise. And I'm finding that I'm learning a great deal from them, not only about what it is and what they do, but how they can assist many others who are also entrepreneurs like we are here. And the whole thing behind the Business Lounge Network, in my mind, it's a couple things. Number one, it's obviously a place for me to hang my shingle. So my business office address is 1515 Legacy Circle, Suite 3H. It's kind of like a shared office space, but in my mind, it's a little bit stronger and a little bit more resourceful for me in terms of what I do. So the Business Lounge Network is an official office spot. So you can actually have a formal business office. For me, it's a conference room within the Lounge Network, but it's also an opportunity to be in a casual environment where I could kind of just do what I need to do on a daily basis, get caught up on emails, get caught up conversing with some of the other members that will hang out there. And plus we have periodic meetings whereby we have networking opportunities just to share our experiences and just have a great time, get to know each other better. I think one of the things that many of us fail to recognize and take advantage of is that while we have a mission at hand in terms of enhancing our business operations, we also want to be there as friends and colleagues and being able to assist each other in whatever we're doing. Like I mentioned to you earlier, you know, I've learned so much in interacting with so many different business owners. I don't profess to be a subject matter expert on everything. I use the other business owners. I use the other subject matter experts to assist me and the clients I work with make themselves better as people, make themselves better as professionals, make them better as business owners, and resources to make other people successful as well. So I view this as it's a more beneficial type of shared office space where camaraderie and subject matter expertise development go hand in hand. And it's an opportunity to meet both formally and informally to get that objective done. Is that kind of where you wanted me to go with that?
And you know, just to add to that, I think of it, most of my strategic partners in business are lounge members just because we see each other and we're, you know, it's a fun place to be. There's a nice oak bar and you can have a drink, and you know, Phil and I have after work kicked back and had a beer a couple times, and it's really nice to just build that friendship. So what we're trying to do is bring the podcast into that as something that having the lounge enhance the podcast by making the podcast better, and having the podcast make the lounge better. So
Well, one little story I want to share with you before we move on is that I happened to have a client meeting at the Lounge Network before this COVID-19 thing began. And one of our members, you know him, Kevin Sender, I had a client come in who was actually looking for some assistance in terms of their marketing efforts, both online and physically. And he just happened to be there at the right time when the client came in. Nothing was formally set. They started talking to one another, and there was a meeting afterwards that followed. So these are opportunities that, they come up at the spur of the moment. But in my mind, that wouldn't happen in another shared office space. But it's the nature of how we're running this business lounge network that makes opportunities like that come to be, if you will.
yeah, and if anyone's interested in membership, feel free to reach out to any of us. Steve and Phil will be on all the podcasts going forward, probably. So you'll be intimately familiar with them, and you can drop them a line if you want to learn how to join the club. Phil, can I have you introduce yourself and say a little bit about yourself, and then if you don't mind, talk about kind of what you and Steve have discussed as the vision for where you'd like to take this podcast going forward.
Yeah, sure. Phil.Simoncelli. I've been a Business Lounge member for, I think this is my third or fourth year, Kevin, and I'm really starting to find that the value in it for me and the other members. I don't want to repeat a lot of what Steve talked about, but I think ultimately the goal here is to kind of take some of that knowledge and expertise that Steve talked about and really share that knowledge with the audience here. And so I'm really excited about the opportunity to bring this forward to our viewers.
So one of the interesting things about the format change that you discussed, we used to basically have a different guest on every week, and I would interview them, or Brian would interview them, kind of very loosely about a particular topic. Very little prep. It would just be kind of a loose conversation, and we want to keep that loose, fun atmosphere. But it sounds like you're going to have one guest come on and do kind of like a series of podcasts and make it a little bit more structured and educational. You mind talking about that a little bit?
Yeah, as I said, I think what's most important is the delivery of the valuable content to our viewers. I think down the road, hopefully we can get an interactive platform where our viewers can kind of help drive where they want the conversations to go. But I think as far as the content goes and the knowledge that the lounge members bring, I think we just really want to make sure we're current with the information we're presenting. We want to make sure that it's relevant to what's going on in our audience's personal lives or businesses. And we want to make sure it's accurate, which is why we're really going to focus and put the spotlight on industry professionals. So I look forward to the format, and we certainly believe and are confident that it's going to bring value to our viewers.
All right, great. Anything else you guys want to say to potential viewers to get them excited and jacked up for the new era of the Seize Your Business podcast?
Let me add something, Kevin. I can tell you that, again, I've run my business for 4 years. I'm a mergers and acquisition specialist. I assist owners sell their business and match them with qualified buyers. Or if you're not ready to do that yet, maybe you want to enhance what you're currently doing. Things evolve over time. Like this COVID-19 experience that we're going through today, I mean, that's the most unbelievable, unprecedented event, both financially and personally to many people here. But even when we conquer this, and I know we're going to conquer it, we're going to find new ways to do things better. Things are going to change over time. And as Phil had mentioned, that you want to stay current. I mean, things like we have said before, there are new experiences that we come across. There's nothing better than having a business owner who's a member of the lounge or who's stopping by the lounge, talking about an experience that they had, a learning experience they've taken to the next level to assist them as well as the other members. You're not going to get that in very many locations like you can at the Business Launch Network. And it's a great opportunity, like Phil said, to stay current and to give you an idea of what's going on in the marketplace, what's going on with business, what's going on with everything, so you can stay current and make sure that you're doing the best you can in all aspects of what you do.
Yeah, I think to piggyback off of that, Steve, I think not only having the information being current and accurate, but I think what's really nice about the Business Lounge, which you alluded to, is the team approach. And so if people are interested in reaching out to a particular guest that we're going to have on the podcast, I think they should also understand that the power of the Business Lounge is also going to allow our business professionals to collaborate. there might be that specific client that might have some insurance needs where we need to consult with an attorney over at O'Flaherty Law, who then maybe we do need to get an accountant involved to make sure that what we're doing is the most tax efficient for them. And so, again, the delivery of these interviews hopefully will be a powerful thing for viewers, but I think the real power comes internally from the way you guys have set up the Business Lounge, where we can really collaborate as a team and help people, which I think goes to one of the points I really wanted to focus on. I want our viewers to know that not only the hosts, but also our guests are going to be highly accessible people. And I know people are accessible in today's day and age through multiple mediums, right? We've got phone, email, now we've got this web stuff that we're doing, or the videos. But I think as far apart that this thing has made us feel, I think people at the end of the day do want to deal and interact with humans. I do. I think technology is a great thing, but I believe that this interview format that we discuss is going to bring a couple things to the table that are going to be better for both the viewer and really the guest. I think as Kevin pointed out, I think the conversational aspect is really going to do really two things. One, it's going to make it obviously more conversational, which can then stir up different thoughts and let us piggyback off of whatever subject we're talking about. But I think, going back to what I said about doing business with people, I think the interview format is really going to allow our Business Lounge members' personalities to shine through their knowledge, if that even makes sense. And so while you guys might learn that Steve is very knowledgeable in the things that he does, you'll be able to see in interviews with Steve how personable and who he is as a person. And hopefully that'll help us reach through these screens that we have today and get a feeling for who we're going to do business with, or who we're going to reach out to for help or consultation down the road. And I certainly hope that that's a goal, because ultimately we want this to be a viewer-driven channel.
Absolutely, Phil. And just since you piggybacked me, I'll piggyback you one last time. We don't profess to know any and everything, but we do know people who are more subject matter experts than we are, and we can refer you to. And we're probably, I know I will do this, we will always ask the question, is there anything you want to add that we may have overlooked? So it's not going to be an interview where we have these 10 questions that we're going to ask you. We're always going to wrap up and say, hey, Kevin, hey, Phil, is there something that we didn't talk about that you need to add based on what you're experiencing in the past weeks, months, or whatever? So again, it's always evolving. There's always new information. To Phil's point, you want to keep current. There are always legal aspects that I'll never be able to stay on top of, even though I deal a lot with lawyers and what I do. But there are always aspects here that a different point of view is just going to make us be better at what it is that we do and how we collaborate, like we've said, with the other entrepreneurs that are part of this launch network.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be fun too for the viewers. And so I know this podcast is a little different than ones we've seen in the past, but we are putting together some really nice videos that'll be coming up in the future for everyone, Kevin. And we think it'll be fun. We think it'll be exciting. We think it'll be a little bit of a change of pace too. And we'll be having some new delivery, some new content out in the very near future. Wouldn't you agree, guys?
Absolutely. And I would not hesitate, anyone who's watching this initial podcast, to send us a line. And Kevin, I'll ask for you to give the email that they can send it to, because we'll always be receptive to ideas. And we want to provide information and content that you're interested in, not what we're interested in, but to be a benefit for everyone.
All right, awesome. Well, Steve, would you like to give your contact information in case someone either has a question about the podcast or could use your help buying or selling a business?
Absolutely. So my email address is seschbach, seschbach at Tworld, TWORLD.com. And my business site is tworld.com/Naperville. Best number to reach me at is the cell phone 312-550-9965. I look forward to hearing from you and how we can help you out.
Phil, how about yourself?
I'm probably best reached through my website. If you Google Phillip.Simoncelli, that's got 2 L's in Phillip, last name Simoncelli. I represent Country Financial, and there'll be a few different ways to contact us there, and either myself or my staff will get back to you guys in a timely fashion.
All right, awesome, man. So we'll have the email to contact put up hopefully on the screen here in post. But if you in the short term, if you want to get through to us, why don't you email Steve at the email he gave you, and he can get you hooked up with the podcast. If you need legal help, again, I'm Kevin O'Flaherty. O'Flaherty Law is my business, and you can reach us at 630-324-6666. That's 630-324-6666. Thanks so much for watching and listening. We're excited to really kind of continue to grow this thing and improve the quality of it with the viewer and the listener in mind. So I'm excited to see where this can go. And we'll be doing it via Zoom until the COVID thing is over, and then we'll start hosting it at our lounge. And looking forward to hopefully meeting some of the viewers and listeners and really bringing a collaborative environment that we have at the lounge to the podcast. So thanks, guys.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Kevin.